What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off-Topic. Today, I'm with a great guest, Sam McCathren, right?
That's
Say it right? All right, I'm with Sam McCathren. Super excited to have him on. If you guys know, Sam is in the community. He's active as a realtor, in fitness, does a whole bunch of different things. And, we're here today. Beautiful day in Austin. You got the little backdrop behind us.
Yep.
So we thought it was appropriate to sit down with him, get to know him more, know his story, and then also just what he's doing in Austin and how he's doing things in the community. So thanks, bro, for coming on. I really appreciate it. I'm excited for this one. Take us back to where we met. I remember I saw you at like 512 Coffee, Christian West. He was doing those events and whatnot. You pulled up, and then I think I saw you on a story, or someone reposted me or something, and then you were like, "Oh, I like that hoodie" or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Bro, he was right there in front of me. I didn't even say anything to him." But
was that the one right there?
That was the one that was like down south,
St. Elmo.
Yeah. So, yeah, bro. Ever since then, we got connected, and we have a lot of mutuals. Hit a workout together, and bro, just the energy, like talking to you and getting to know you. I was like, this is a good dude, and excited to support him and just see how we can work together and all that stuff. So man.
Yeah, man. Well, I just want to say, Cam, thank you for the opportunity. Love what you're doing here in the city, man. And I would like to bounce that back to you. Every time we do talk, it's the energy's there, man. So I can kind of feed off that. You're always in a positive, uplifting mood. And I think we need more people like you in the city, dude. So I appreciate you having me on and coming into my space here. And looking forward to seeing what this convo has for us, man.
100%, bro. So, take us back to kind of your journey, like kind of like your early transitions of, just figuring out like who you are and, all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, man. So I grew up in DFW in Dallas. Arlington, Texas is where I'm from. That's where I spent most of my childhood. And just played sports through high school. We were talking about this earlier, hated running when I was a kid. But I stuck with football and met some of my best friends who are here in Austin now, and part of the reason I moved to Austin. But, growing up in Arlington was interesting because I kind of grew up in a rougher neighborhood. I went to the nicer high schools, but kind of where I spent most of my time in that neighborhood, man, we used to get into some trouble, man. We had a little skate crew called One Way. So we had our own little handshake. And some of those guys, there was 10 of us, and those are, some of my best friends growing up. And, we really just kind of stuck through thick and thin together. And some of us made it out of that lifestyle. Some of us didn't. Me and two other buddies are really the only 3 out of those 10 that made it out. I think, some of them have passed on and far too young. My buddy Reese just passed away a few months ago, man. Love that guy, but just got caught up in that kind of younger drugs, alcohol, and never really found something enough to pull him out of it. And a lot of us were kind of, we loved the guy, but that kind of stuff, fentanyl took his life.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of that lifestyle that we were living in as we got older and introduced to, harder drugs and stuff that just kind of took over. It was tough to go through that. I think looking back, I wouldn't change anything. But that's kind of what took over my life from like 17 to probably 25, 26 years old was kind of that drug addiction, figuring my life out and failing at everything I did, dude. Everything I did, I failed at it. I tried to start businesses and had this company called Postal Fit where you would subscribe and I would send you workouts in the mail. Postal Fit.
Yeah.
Never stuck with it because just other things in my life were just had a grip on me, man. So all that to say, I moved out to Hawaii to get away from all that stuff and really found fitness along the way. And so started training friends and family. And then I was moving out to Hawaii, working out at a gym out there. And that's kind of where life really opened up for me. I started seeing more opportunities and still had this kind of lingering drug addiction that, I would get free from, whether it be, Xanax or cocaine or you name it. I was really like consumed by that stuff. I just was trying to fill some sort of gap. And so being out in Hawaii, man, it's really hard to have a bad day out there. And you start realizing like, wait, life is beautiful. Like I have a lot to be thankful for, and kind of pulling yourself out of that. And so that was kind of the transition from being a young kid to entering adulthood and trying to find myself. And I did a lot of finding myself out there in Hawaii, which kind of brought me to where I'm at today. But you know, there's some details. I don't know how deep you want to get into that one question.
Yeah.
Just let it rip.
As much as you'd like to get into, man.
Hey, let's crack open this.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting, bro, because I love Hawaii. I've only been there once. I went there a couple years ago when I was in kind of a dark place, bro. And
that's good.
It was I went to Oahu. So I was on like the most popular, you know, island and stuff where Honolulu and stuff is at. But bro, when I went out there, I was in a dark place, you know. I'd surfed before in like San Diego, surfed again out there, and I was just like, man, it's just so freeing out here. You know, it cleansed me. I felt like
everything.
You kind of just like, you're kind of just away. Like it feels like you're in a different country, but you're not. You're still in the U.S., you know, but it's like the culture there, you know, the way people are there, family oriented. Everyone, you know, is nice and kind. I think, you know, that was just refreshing to see, you know, because I feel like it's like that in the South, like Southern hospitality, but then there's so much, especially in a city like Austin, which we'll get into, but there's so much like hustle and bustle, boom, boom and go, transactional relationships, things like that. Sometimes it's good to just slow things down and really see what that is. So, but yeah, man, in Hawaii, like kind of just, you know, take me through like once you were there and you got, you know, into working and everything, like what was kind of like that transition period from when you first initially got there? Like, was it easy? Was it hard?
Yeah. So when I got out there, so what drew me out there is one of my best friends, Nathaniel. His dad has lived out there for 5 years prior to me moving out there. And my buddy Nate went off to college. So I called his dad. I was like, hey man, look, I'm in a really bad place. Can I come stay with you for a bit? He's like a second dad to me, man. So he's like, son, come out here. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain. I'll remember that quote for the rest of my life. And so I stayed out there. He's like, you can live with me for 3 months. If you like it, move into your own place. If you don't like it, you just move back to Austin or move back to Texas. I wasn't here in Austin yet, but I was like, done deal. So I sold my car, sold everything I had. Of course, went on a week-long bender before I moved out there, spent all my money. Shipped everything I owned in this duffel bag that ripped along the way. Sewed it up in Denver, shipped it to Hawaii. I got out there, man, and just suit jacket, some pants like these, and printed out 20 of my resumes. And I went to the nicest place on Maui called Wailea. It's where all the resorts are. And I started just giving my resume to restaurants. And they're like, I remember this one GM pulled me aside. He's like, this isn't how you do it. I respect what you're doing, but this is Hawaii, man. Like you're too uptight. Like you're trying to oppress the wrong people, right?
Yeah.
So ended up getting a server job at one of the nicest restaurants on island, started making good money. I could pay for rent, you know, ended up moving out of my buddy's dad's spot, getting my own spot, meeting people, building that community. And you know, I want to get back to what drew me out there, man. I feel like God was giving me an opportunity to say, go find yourself in me. You need to get away from all this chaos in your life and just get to know me. Like, I want you to be my son. And I just I grew up in a Christian household and just didn't want anything to do with it, man. I didn't like Big C church and religion and all this stuff that was telling me I was not enough. And, you know, I felt like church kind of doubled down on that. I couldn't really relate to people in church because I had been through so much before even turning 18. You know, through high school, I'd been to jail 5 times, 6 times. I had been to rehab twice. I had lost a lot of friends. I had finished my school, junior year of high school in a rehab facility. And I felt like I couldn't relate, man. Like people didn't really know me. And if they did know the real me, they really wouldn't love me. And so in church, I felt that same thing. Like these people were kind of goody-goody and they wouldn't love me if they knew who I was. But I felt like God was calling me out there. And so along the way of moving out there, getting a job, finding community, I found Hope Chapel, Maui, which is a really, really cool church out there. You know, Pastor Ben and the young adults and people that just kind of took me in, but they also really didn't know the extent of my past. So it's kind of a fresh start for me, something to start over and recreate myself and who I wanted to be. Felt like a fresh start, man. And it was awesome. So I got into personal training at this mom and pop gym called Maui Powerhouse. Started building up my clientele and started, Foundation Fit was my personal training business, and Foundation Food was like the meal prepping side of it. So I would prep hundreds of meals for the week for my clients, train them in the gym. It was banging. I had an app and logo and LLC and all that stuff. And so I was really starting to see just if I put in the effort and the work, I would kind of reap the rewards of what it was that I was trying to reach. And still trying to figure out what that was. But like fitness really gave me this outlet of like seeing me hit my own goals and improve how I looked and how I felt, and helping other people through their lives and losing weight and becoming more fit. And it was really rewarding, man. And I think that would have never happened if I didn't move out from the chaotic mess that I created and kind of get this fresh perspective on life and feel rejuvenated and, gaining traction in my spiritual life and learning how God sees me and not how I see myself. It was really transformative, man. It was 5 years of my life that, being out on Maui, dude, it saved my life.
Yeah.
And so, with that personal training business came the biggest opportunity of my life, which, there's this new club being built on Maui called McKenna, and it was a private community, and all the top dogs, CEOs, ex-presidents, you name it, they're there, ex-athletes, professional athletes. And so that opportunity came in while I was training at that mom and pop gym. And so, once I started working there, I'm making 6-figure salary and really just enjoying life. And I had thought the biggest part of my drug addiction had passed, but really what it was doing is I was running from something and I was taking it along with me. I had never really turned around and faced it and dealt with it. And so, while I'm training these people like, Adam Sandler and his family, and you got Jeff Bezos in the gym and Barack Obama's on the treadmill. Wow, and I'm like
crazy.
fully addicted to drugs, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I ended up shooting dope, and that's where things really took a grip of my life, where I thought the worst of it was over. And during COVID, dude, work shut down, had nothing but time, and I'm still getting paid a 6-figure salary. What else is a drug addict gonna do, dude? He's gonna let it rip. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. And bro, COVID was such an interesting time, bro. I feel like just the world learned so much then. A lot of people learned so much then about themselves. I mean, you have creators blow up overnight because everyone's on their phone or online. And then you have businesses and people in businesses that require, traffic, community, interaction kind of fall to the wayside. And, I'm pretty sure there's other people in situations that you were in that, had found like this escape, had found kind of their purpose, their clarity, and then it's all taken away from them. And now it's like you're saying, you have the resources, you have nothing but time. Like that's what you're going to do, in that situation. Mm-hmm. From there, once COVID hit and then you got in that situation, we kind of talked about it a little bit off camera, but like, what was kind of like that turning point / breaking point for you to realize what you were doing isn't something you want to be doing, and just how to go about correcting your life?
Yeah, that's a great question. And there's a few things that really helped me change. And one of them, of course, drug addiction, there's no end of it. There's just, you lose your life. There's no satisfaction point where you're like, yeah, this is enough. That was great. Cool. I'm good. For me, it was kind of like, it had gotten so bad to where, I was on this bender and I was so depressed, dude. I was ready to go, man. I didn't want to live anymore. I was just so sad and so lost that I pulled enough in that syringe to kill me. And I let it rip, dude. I had, written a letter to my mom telling her I'm sorry. Like, bro, I was ready. I was done. it was just too much for me to handle, and I didn't see a way out. And right there, dude, it wasn't audible, but it was the voice of God telling me. He said, son, I told you this would happen if you didn't listen to me. And I think that moment right there made me realize, like, everything I'm looking for is right there, bro. That relationship with God. And, you know, I'm here. This is the God that I believe in. I know everybody has their own beliefs, and I think it's important that you pursue that with everything that you have. And for me, it was God, bro. It was Jesus Christ. And so I think it came to the point where I made it through that night, and I said, you know what, I'm not living like this anymore. And I checked myself into rehab in California and flew out there and just did that program. And then, you know, it's kind of a deciding point. Do I want to go back to Maui and live it, just because it can be pretty triggering being in that same environment?
100%.
And so I think, you know, in rehab, I had deleted social media, and I changed my number to a 512 number in rehab. Ended up moving back to Maui, lived there for a year and a half with the 512 number, and just kind of in the back of my mind, like, okay, I'm going to move to Austin. Mm-hmm. Like, that's where I'm feeling called to go. And so the company I was working for as the fitness manager is a developer. They're a luxury private community developer at heart. And so training those real estate guys, they were always like, you should get your license, you should get into real estate, you could work for this company and do that. And I was like, you know what, that's a great idea. I'm going to get my real estate license, and I'm going to move back to Texas, back home. I'm going to go to Austin. I've always come to this city, even with a fake ID down there on Rainy Street. And I've always loved it, man. I've always felt called. My aunt has lived here as a kid, my mom, and just kind of like, it felt like I don't know. It just felt like home to me in a way. And so I got clean. I moved to Austin, got my real estate license while working out here at Driftwood. And the day I started getting my license, I think rates were at like 4%. And then the day I could transact with my license, they were at 7.2%. I did not know what that meant at the time, but looking back at it, I was like, that was a terrible time to get into real estate.
Yeah.
But it really allowed the market to slow down and get into a healthy place like it is today.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped me because I met some people who would have otherwise been far too busy to even talk to a new agent like myself. But it opened up doors that, you know, got me to where I'm at today with a lot of help from a lot of people. And so a long roundabout answer to your question, man, is just going through all that stuff. Each stumbling block and each failure allowed me to kind of stand up, reevaluate, reassess, get back on track. And I do want to back up because I'm getting too far ahead of myself. The first thing was God talking to me to get me out of that. And the second thing, which is probably one of the most important things, was running. So when I moved back to Maui and I was like, okay, how am I going to stay clean and stay busy and stay focused? And I started running, dude. I would run a mile away from my house and I would walk back, and my pace would be like 11:30 per mile. And I was just so out of shape. I was like 220 pounds. That's 40 pounds above where I'm at now. And running was so difficult for me, man. My chest was tight, breathing heavy. I'm sweaty, knees hurt, mom's spaghetti. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything hurt. Like, it was brutal. And so I just started doing it alone, man. I would run a mile away, walk back, run a mile away, run back. And 2 became 3, became 4, became 10. And it really made me choose between waking up hungover or just going on a bender, or like signing up for a 5K or a 10K and running with a couple friends and chasing that. And along the way, dude, it was really imperfect and really ugly. And some mornings I would wake up hungover and I would try and run and I just couldn't. And I'm like, okay, I'm failing majorly at this. I've got to cut that out. And so it's been, 6-7 years of like, I still struggle with, I'm 8 months no alcohol now, but before that, like, still just last year, I'd wake up hungover and I'm like, dude, I can't do this. And so while it's not perfect, I never had a day that was like, and on that day, I never went back. Like, it's been this imperfect journey of creating this man that I want to be. And running was a major factor in that, because you can't have both. Like, it's one of those things, bro. You got to be dialed on it. You can go out and party for sure, but you're choosing that and saying no to running.
Yeah. And if you take a week off of running, like, it sets you back so much, you know, it takes so long just to develop that stamina, that, you know, resilience to doing it consistently. So that, like, when you get to a good point, you don't want to regress that and all that, you know? So also think too, kind of like a little off topic, but going into running and fitness and all this stuff nowadays, like, I think there's so many activities that, you know, can resemble that. Obviously, like, we're in Austin, there's so much going on, you know, whether that be like different workouts in the morning group or workout groups in the evenings or stuff on the weekends, right? Like, everyone I feel like here is, you know, in that community wants to support each other, needs people to work out with or train with, as well as you also have like the marathons, you have High Rocks, you have all these different events that you can kind of like create a goal for yourself to where it's like, there's no, like, anybody can technically enter these, right? Like, there's no barrier to entry. Like, obviously there's going to be people who are going to run sub 3 hour marathons, and there's going to be people who are going to run marathons that take them almost 6 hours, right?
Yeah.
But there's no barrier to entry, and you're able to do these, you're able to sign up for these. So I think for, you know, someone like yourself, or just like, you know, anyone that's like kind of struggling, or they want to kind of get into this rhythm of, you know, fitness or training or whatever, you can look at some of these things. If that's something you're interested in, you can be like, hey, I want to, you know, complete a High Rocks. What do I got to do to train for this? Okay, this is what I got to do to train for this. Boom. Now you put something like in front of you that is actually tangible to doing, instead of just kind of doing it with the sense of, you know, maybe like it makes you feel good. That's good enough for some people, but for some people, they need that plus some kind of alternative motive to get it done. So yeah.
Austin's an interesting city because you can approach a giant crowd of people and go sub 3 marathon, and, you know, 80% of those people are going to be like, yeah, same, dude. It's a very rare thing. I think it can be both. It can be a double-edged sword here, because I think for the new runner getting into running, this city can be really intimidating if they're not put into the right environment. And you've got run clubs like Purple Dragons, that's not a beginner run club, but it will dial you in if you are trying to go for those faster marathon times. And then you've got run clubs like Good Grief, man. Sam Hindell, she's putting together an amazing run club on the east side where you have an 11-minute pace group and you have a 7-minute pace group and everything in between. And so a new runner can go there and meet new people. And that's what I did when I moved to Austin, dude. I knew one person moving to this city, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. And I started going to Raw on Tuesday nights over at Mean-Eyed Cat and just meeting people and getting to know people. And then me and this friend would go on a run on a Saturday. And then, you know, I started my own little run club group on the east side, and we would meet on Wednesdays and just go for 4 miles. And that helped me build community. And so, you know, I think for the new runner, it's an amazing city, but you just have to position yourself in the right crowd, because then you can also feel really intimidated with fast groups and feel like you're not doing enough, when, dude, a 10:30 pace for 3 miles is amazing. Yeah. Like, you should be super proud of that. It's not what the entire world does, but it's what our entire world here in Austin does, you know? And so, and then I think, you know, for the advanced runner, the city's amazing too, bro. You have people moving from all across the country to come here and train in a city like Austin with, you know, Jeff Cunningham and Bat City and these really fast coaching programs and clubs where you can progress into the, you know, if you want to do the Olympic trials, dude, the city's fantastic for it. And then you have everything in between. So I think, you know, if you're not a runner and you're kind of intimidated to get into it, just like look for the right crowd and just kind of dive yourself in, and don't be afraid to fail or be slow or look stupid, bro. That's the beauty of the whole journey, because if everybody got into it and was perfect at it and was great at it, like, I mean, it would just be this stale group that, like, you can't really relate to. It's fun to see that new runner come in or that OG runner crush their marathon time, or it's a really cool city because then you can always, like, once you get good at a 10K and a half marathon, you can put yourself in a run club or a group that's going to push you and make you better. And I think it's rare because you could probably get fast in another city and maybe you're the fastest there, but I don't think in Austin you're ever going to be that. So you can always progress and like get better and push yourself. And dude, the people I've met in the run community are some of my closest, some of my best friends. And I think there's two of like doing hard stuff together, whether it's 3 miles at a 10-minute pace or 10 miles at a 7-minute pace, like doing hard stuff with your friends, even if you're not talking on the run, like doing that hard stuff, it builds a relationship between you guys that can go through other things in life that are just as hard. And you know that that person is reliable and you can count on them. They're going to push through. And then also during those miles, bro, you can talk to somebody who's going through some shit. Like, let's unpack that. Let's spend the next 30, 45 minutes, like, working through this problem. I know people have helped me through problems as well. And so I think there's a really beautiful, you know, fitness and running community for whatever it is you do, man. High rocks, running, lifting, powerlifting. Like, it's a really unique city. And I don't think there's another city on planet Earth, and I'm a firm believer in this, that's doing what Austin's doing. And I think a lot of eyes are on this city for kind of what we've created here.
100%. And we were talking about that as well. Like, it's very unique that there's this realm of, I would say people from age 21 to, 40 years old, right? That are, have gone through things. Maybe they're business centric only. Maybe they've worked in corporate forever. Then they get some kind of, epiphany, and then they want to, go a different career route. I think it's very unique, from all the conversations that I've had, that you've had, that you can very well easily have a conversation with someone and they're like, oh, wow, they're working on something that I never have heard of, but like they're passionate about it. They're into it. And we also have common interests like fitness, or like being healthy or like taking care of ourselves and stuff. And for me, someone who like grew up here, is from Austin, went to college in Colorado, came back, just seeing that now, and then from when we started this to now, it's just continuing to grow. And I firmly believe what you said. Like, I don't think there's cities like this, right? Like, you have LA, you have New York, you have a few other cities, at Miami, right, where you might have some fitness, you might have some communities, you might have some culture. But far as like, I feel like supporting each other, not a ton of people act too cool for school, right? Like, there's a ton of successful people that me and you both know.
There's not a lot of gatekeeping, dude.
No. You ask them for advice? Yeah. Sure. What do you need, right? I think that goes a long way, right? And I think that kind of goes down to the Southern hospitality here, too. Even when the people do move here, the transplants and stuff like that, I think that being in Austin embodies them to be like, man, like, maybe the way, they moved here for a reason, right? So maybe they're like embody like the sharing aspect of Austin, the community aspect of Austin. And then when you have something to do every day, whether that be like fitness or church or just any kind of like networking groups, there's always stuff going on here to meet some unique people.
Yeah.
Which I want to transition that into the real estate. Obviously, like, real estate is very competitive. It's like eat what you kill kind of world. I've always been curious the approach of realtors. Like, I'm friends with you. I'm friends with a couple other realtors, and the ones that I see that are successful are constantly involved in community. They respond fast to anything. They have their own unique interests, and they also just document a lot more than like the common realtor. So like, your approach with it, getting into all the stuff you're doing, and kind of from COVID to now, like, what has been some of the stuff that you've really leaned into to grow your business?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And starting it, from COVID to now, I think it's a good segue, because during COVID, when all of that stuff went down in my life, not only did it hurt me as a person, but it hurt my community and the friendships that I had built. And I kind of watched my actions and decisions kind of destroy community that was really important to me. And it was nobody else's fault but my own. And so I watched what I had kind of it was destructive, dude. And people don't necessarily want to be around that, or they don't necessarily know how to handle somebody like that. So they kind of distance yourself. So I watched my community crumble. And when I moved here, you know, I told myself, I was like, community is really important. I'm going to try my best to make that a priority and not be so destructive. And, you know, I've made my mistakes since moving here and learned from some valuable lessons, but you know, the lessons I learned out there, I don't make those same mistakes here. And I'm just like, okay, I've seen this before. I know how this plays out. Let me try and do something differently to kind of keep that community intact. And so moving here, I knew community was going to be one of the most important things that I could have, just from like a addict standpoint, and just kind of building a home for yourself. And it's got to be a priority. And so being in the run club scene, while I was getting my license, helped me find that community. And once I got my license and joined a new team, like that was my work family. And so I joined the Landy Frost group, which is, you know, Tim Landy and Mike Frost. They're two of the best agents here in Austin. And they really took me under their wing, man. I was the first one to join their kind of new team. And so it was really us three. And then the transaction coordinator, Callie, she's fantastic. And so just learning from those guys, they don't pay for leads. All of it's referral based, word of mouth, and just bringing as much value to your clients as possible to then get their friends and family to refer you. And so, you know, watching them for my first 3 years in real estate, watching how they operate, watching how they treat their friends and their clients, and they're not out begging for business, they're bringing value and the business is coming. And, you know, for me, my first 3 years in real estate was extremely difficult, and I put a lot of pressure on the team, and I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I was kind of just figuring it out, dude. It was so imperfect, and a lot of failures and a lot of chasing leads that were never going to give me their business. But I really thought like, oh, this guy wants a $3 million house. I'm going to go find it before signing anything with him. And then he closes on something else. And so a lot of wasted time and a lot of lessons learned, but it's part of the game, dude. And I think in Austin, you've got 19,000 agents in the Austin MSA from Georgetown to Buda. And so out of those 19,000, only half are doing one transaction or more. And then you have your, you know, top 500 agents. Those are the ones doing 90% of the business here in Austin. And so you kind of got to pay your dues, man. I thought it's like everything I've done in my life, I've kind of been the best at, whatever it is. Like I've been really good at it. Real estate, not so much, man. I mean, I go back sometimes and I look at my first reels of properties and what I'm talking about, and I'm like, oh, dude, such a noob. But it's part of the game, bro. And you got to stick through like those really cringy moments to then now being in year 4 of real estate, bro. It is going crazy right now. And it's because of seeds that I planted year 1, year 2, year 3, and learning from some guys that, dude, they poured their life into me and really brought me up to a speed that I wouldn't have been able to come to in 4 years. I feel like I've been in this game for a decade, and I've just entered my 4th year. And so really community is number one, because I don't pay for leads, and I really base myself off of referrals and who I meet and what kind of people I'm just meeting out and about. And that's where my business comes from. And so, you know, to answer your question, like, the community aspect of it's number one. The business will come, but it's been, you know, some months when I first started, dude, I couldn't pay rent. I'm like, how do I pay my bills? Where is this going to come from? And then a check always comes in, or opportunity always opens up, and you make it through. And it's really hard to put this into words or share this on social media too, because I think we do get so busy. You're like, oh, frick, I forgot to film that. Or you're like, I don't want people to know this side of me, but there's a really raw side of it that, like, if you don't have a second job or you're not working your ass off, dude, you can fail in a heartbeat. And I feel like over those 4 years, I have failed and got back up and failed and got back up. And over the next 10 years, dude, I'll probably fail again and get back up and just continue on. But 20 years from now, bro, I'm going to have the life that I always wanted, that I dreamed of. And it's part of going through these times where you're like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
And I think that goes with anything, bro. Like you said, that entrepreneurial spirit here in Austin it's rare in other cities, dude. This is a very young city. And when I moved here, I was like, who's in charge of this city? Because we're all just a bunch of kids like making this thing happen. And so it's been cool because there's not a lot of gatekeeping, and there's a lot of people who will help you along the way. And I think it's important that we acknowledge those people because, dude, I wouldn't be here without the people that have helped me out along the way.
100%, bro. I definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. And like, it's cool to hear you say that from the real estate side because, you know, you get on social media, everything's so glamorous. It's like, oh, like this property is amazing. Like this person's doing this and this. Like, you know, it's good to be like transparent with that because I think a lot of people see that through the internet or online, and they're like, oh, I'm just gonna get my real estate license, not knowing what they're gonna get into, things like that. I mean, I can kind of like resemble this to kind of like what we do with a camera, like shooting and editing. Like when we started, you know, 7 years ago or whatever it was, you know, we were just doing it because we were passionate about it. We just wanted to make content. And then it's obviously involved from meeting people like you and the relationships that we have, or it's like, well, we have this skill set. These people are doing this with their business. Like, how can we help assist them, you know, and help, you know, solve some of their problems that they don't have time for, right? But I think nowadays, like, kind of like anything, the barrier to entry is so low for everything. It's not hard to get into, you know, real estate, right? Obviously, you got to pass your exams and things like that. But like, the barrier to entry isn't, you know, extremely high. And the same thing with this, right? Like, you can go look up if you have the funds or finances, or, you know, if you want to finance something, you go get a camera and then boom, right? Like you have a camera. Now what do you do with it? Right? Like you got to learn how to shoot. You got to take that quality to another level. But then same instance of you got to nurture, you got to build relationships. You got to take time like you were doing to plant those seeds. And, you know, that's just something that, you know, I resonate with you with, right? Cause you know, a lot of these conversations, a lot of, you know, free shoots, like a lot of stuff like that should just resonate and create some seeds to where now, like, we're feeling like we can get into like a good system, create systems, a good flow of things, you know, and stuff like that. So definitely just wanted to say that because I understand that aspect of, there's a lot of failing. There's a lot of, this didn't work out. We tried this didn't work out, you know, so.
Well, dude, the barrier to entry is low for almost anything, but the barrier to be great, I mean, there's a lot of sacrifice and a lot of roadblocks that people will stop at. And they're like, this is too much. This is too hard. And I think, you know, with you, like, you didn't just sit in this chair the first time and be as comfortable and confident as you are and just approachable and easy flowing conversation. It took a lot of time. And I'm sure the editing side of it too, like, bro, it's not, I could go buy this camera and film something and it's not going to be the product that you're going to put out because you put in the time, almost a decade of your, you know, failing and figuring it out and free shoots. Dude, I was just telling my girlfriend this the other day. I was like, 90% of what I do is for free. Like, I get paid for like 10% of what I do. And that's the case with a lot of realtors is like, you know, I do a lot of what I do for community and also for my business. And I'm not like ashamed or afraid to say that, but it's a cohesive group. And I do my run club for free, and I do other run events and a couple shakeouts for the Austin Marathon this weekend. Like, dude, it's all for free. It's not me getting paid or showing up expecting a specific outcome, but I just do these things because, one, they've changed my life. Two, they could change somebody else's. And three, I might meet a client for sure, but like, I'm doing this out
part of it.
It's all part of it. It's this cohesive thing, dude. And so, you know, if I had a steady like lead flow and that was coming in and I paid for that and it was great, then maybe I'm doing more stuff for just myself. But I think that's the beauty of it. And I don't think it's by chance, bro. I think God put me in a career field where, like, this is part of it. Yeah. He's using my talents and the things that he's given me to bring value to other people. And it took me a long time to see that. I think a lot of the time I was like, what about me? What about me? What about me? Bro, at the end of the day, I'm always taken care of. And so if I can just bring value, if I need to go show 30 houses for free for weeks on end, let's do it, man. I want you to find the perfect house. and I want you to be in love with it 6 months, 6 years down the road. That's like, thanks for helping me find this house.
Yeah.
This is great. You know what I mean? So I think too, like, people do get into real estate not expecting it to be the way that it is, especially in a slower market, but it's these kind of years that'll shape you into being the dog when the market's going crazy. You're the guy to call. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't trade a single day of my 32 years of life to change it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a beautiful story down the road, dude.
100%. So going on a little fitness tangent real quick. When I first met you, you were like, I do real estate, but also like do a bunch of fitness stuff. And like, I feel like my content's like too blended.
Mm-hmm.
One, just like question from me, did you ever figure out like kind of that balance? And then two, you know, there's so much like fitness style content. Like you find a page, you like, oh, this person lives in Austin, go to their page, you know, 30,000 followers plus. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what do they post? Only fitness content, right? Yeah. Do you think that's something you want to lean into more, or are you okay doing it the way you're doing it and still growing the way you're growing, you know, because obviously, you know, you're passionate about real estate, but you're also passionate about these other things as well that kind of, you know, complete you, right? So I just was curious on that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great question, man. I think it's still something I struggle with. If I, you know, we'll take a fitness page and a real estate page and, you know, call it 50,000 followers on each. Pretty much what they're going to have in common is they are just fitness or they are just real estate. And I think that that's great. But social media is a powerful tool. And I like sharing what I'm passionate about to find some common ground other than real estate. Because if I meet you through Instagram from running and that's all it ever is with us, you never purchase real estate through using me, that's awesome, dude. Like, that's a relationship that I have found in fitness and running. I can always build that relationship and go run with you, and I don't need you to buy a house to be your friend. But then also, you might see my real estate stuff and hit me up and like, hey, I'm considering buying, and that's cool. And like, I'm okay with my 5,000 followers that 90% of them are here in Austin, dude. Yeah. Like, I don't want to have 100K in followers that are all around the world. I think that's great. But like, at the end of the day, my community and my followers here in Austin, like, that's what's important to me. And so if I can get 2 or 3 leads through real estate from social media, that's great. And if I get 10 or 15 friends from running through Instagram and social media, that's great. But if you just show up to my page and you're a runner and you see a realtor in a suit the whole time, like, maybe we'll never know that we have that in common, and we can't build that relationship. Because at the end of the day, bro, if you took real estate out of my life, I'm still going to run. Yeah. I'm still going to have that in my life. And I would rather have that relationship with you than no relationship at all.
100%.
You know what I mean?
No, I like that answer, man. Cause I do think, you know, there's like a time and place to like narrowly focus and niche down, but like personal brands are so important, you know, like you see all these people who are successful from being organic, making their personal brands. And then when it's time for them to either offer a service or sell something or whatever, they actually have a people that believe in who that person is. So no matter what it is, even if they're not even interested, right? Like, they could be like, you sell a book, maybe this person doesn't read it all, but they might just buy it just because it's from you, right? Yeah. And I think like that's so cool, just like the power of like building something online and, you know, actually being relatable to people and not just portraying like, oh no, I'm only this. Like, I see this person's page, I can only go to him for real estate, right? Yeah. Another thing that I see and wanted to bring up is you've been working with LuluLemon for the last couple of years. You know, as an ambassador, right? Yep, that's correct. And you got your shakeout run coming up for the Austin Marathon. Just kind of talk me through like, how did that happen and how's that been for you?
Yeah. So LuluLemon, man, they've been great. I used to do beach workouts for them out on Maui. And that's kind of how I got introduced to the brand, and they would give me free product and I would host these beach workouts and do this circuit, and it was sick, dude. And so I moved here to Austin and I was doing a trail cleanup, just random Saturday, just threw this event together by myself, and it was called Show Up for Your City. And I threw this flyer on social media. And then I remembered community outreach, Lululemon. So I called the one here, 6 in Lamar. And I was like, hey, can I talk to the community specialist? I'm doing this trail cleanup. I wanted to see if you guys would sponsor it. And they were like, yeah, we'll bring out a few people. We'll sponsor this. This will be great. And so that laid the foundation for then doing some run events for them. And eventually they reached out. Every year at the time, they would switch ambassadors for each store. So each store gets 2 or 3 ambassadors, whether it's yoga, cycle, hit, run,
nice,
you name it. And so they asked me to be the run ambassador for 6 in Lamar. And so,
nice.
You know, I signed a 2-year contract with them, and it's been great. It actually comes to an end at the end of this month. So it's been 2 amazing years, and just shout out to Lululemon 6 in Lamar for always having my back, and Dom and Ruben and Alex and Britt, you guys are amazing. Really bringing a lot of value to the city. So it'll be fun to kind of close out with Austin Marathon Shakeout, and I'm really excited for the next ambassador that they bring on. But it definitely helped me kind of put my name, a little bit of trust building in the run community, and you know, they help me with events, and I do Sam Summer Slam, which is a pickleball fundraiser for real estate. They helped sponsor that and give away, product and prizes. And it's been great, man. They're a really useful tool for building community here in Austin.
Yeah, bro. I forgot that you throw that event. That's something that we definitely got to get out to this year, man, and support you and stuff, because those are awesome. Yeah,
we're doing it May 31st at Bolden Acres.
This one down here?
Yeah, okay. Bolden Acres South. I don't want to throw too much out there yet, but we've got some sick, we got a sick DJ, local guy. Okay. Everybody loves him. And we're gonna throw another big party, raise money for charity, man. I think the first year we raised 14. Last year we raised 9. And so this year, in between 15 and 20K for charity would be fantastic. But it's it's things like that. Like, I'm not getting paid for it. Just do it.
Just doing it. That's good though. Like, there's got to be more of that, I think, right? Like, we're just you're putting out good energy, right? Because you want to do it, and it's going to be reciprocated, whether that be within the same month, same year, or 10 years down the line. I think if you just continue to compound and do the right thing, like, it always comes back.
Well, it's our outlet, dude. It's the fitness community. You can post an event and say, hey, we're meeting here for 3-mile run, donate $10 to whatever charity, and dude, the city will show up. It's nothing I'm doing. I'm just creating the environment and the platform, and people are like, this is sick. I want to take part in this. And it's not because of Sam McCathren. It's just because of the heart of our city and the fitness community. They're like, I do that. I align with that, and I'll donate some money, and it can bring change to the city, dude. So I think just using, if it's running or if it's videography or whatever your talent or passion is, dude, like, the city will show up for it.
100%. And then a couple last questions for me. So obviously into real estate, you got to show people around and kind of give them, I'm sure there's people that hit you up that don't even live here, that have never been to Austin or have been here but don't know what to do. So, like, what are some of your favorite things to do here? And then just, like, give me some, because I like food. I'm a foodie. Like, give me some spots you like here. I always like to ask people, like, if in case there's stuff I don't know or whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I do get a lot of calls from out-of-state people or friends with, a friend that's trying to move to Austin, or I just picked up a big client that's out of state looking to buy a house for his family when they come to visit Austin. So he can come visit his brother, and his brother will live there, and it's just cool to see, like, Austin's on the map for people that aren't even here. Yeah, that's sick.
But dude, I'm such a mixed bag, because I'm a sucker for tacos, barbecue, pizza, burgers, and y'all are going to hate to hear this, but I think one of the best burgers in town is Shake Shack, South Lamar.
Shake Shack, which one do you get? I like the Smoke Shack.
Dude, just give me a double-double.
Okay.
Just give me a double-double. I think, so burger-wise, dude, Casino El Camino on Dirty Six.
Okay.
It's like this grungy biker bar, and the guys in the back counter are like, what do you want? And if you're not quick with it, they're just like, it's just kind of this
love that
grungy little counter. Dude, the burger's so good.
Okay.
Pizza, we're going all day at Flo's Wine Bar in Terrytown. Or La Volta Pizza Club. I think La Volta is such a vibe, dude.
La Volta's good.
If I'm going out for a nice dinner, dude, I think ATX Cocina does not miss.
It's good.
The service is impeccable, and you get a good sized table there, and you guys just do family style. Like, one of the best meal experiences I had was my buddy's birthday a few months back in September. 12 of us. I mean, service was impeccable. Food was fantastic. I'm going ATX Cocina. And then you can't really go wrong with Denata, bro. Got to throw a Denata plug out there.
Denata.
Come on now. I'm 8 months sober and I'll still go to Denata. But I think, dude, those are some of my top spots. I think those are great.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. And then outside of, you know, when you're working and fitness, like, do you have any other hobbies you like to do?
Man, I mean, running and real estate is really it for me.
Yeah.
I think I've picked up, like, I love, even on my days off, if I have a day off, I'm like, I'm going to go film this property because it's such a creative outlet for me. And I love, you know, high-end finishes and great architecture and kind of like a mid-century vibe. So I'll look through the MLS and go film a cool property or, you know, really other than that, dude, I'm either eating, running, or doing real estate, man. And, you know, I just got back in August, I left my real estate team of 3 years and went out on my own and started the 93 group, dude. So that's kind of, you know, it was the year I was born and just want to help people relate to like that journey of kind of finding a home and planting some roots. And so, you know, that's been going good. So kind of my hobby now is like building out the website and the branding and trying to figure out what my voice is and my vibe. Like I was telling you earlier, I could come out here in a suit jacket and some slacks and give the realtor vibe. But like I started 93 to kind of give homage to my journey of like skating and, you know, some nicer pants. Now I'm in real estate, but like I want to be approachable to my network of, you know, 28 to 35-year-olds and just kind of like know what I'm talking about and know what I'm doing. But like we could go grab a beer later and hang out and shoot the shit. Yeah. And so, you know, I'm really excited to see what the next, you know, 2 or 3 years brings for 93 group. And it's been fun, man. It's been a really fun journey.
Heck yeah, man. Well, if there's any way, you know, we can help you or assist, you know, whether that be with 93 group, your own real estate, or just anything fitness or event related, you know, you always can let me know.
Let's go.
That's what we want to do, help serve and, you know, build and all that stuff. So, but yeah, man, you have any questions, Bert?
I got 2. What you got?
No. Okay. It's okay.
If you could go back and talk to Sam right before you moved to Hawaii, what would you tell him?
Whew. If I could go back in time and talk to Sam right before I moved to Hawaii, what would I tell him? That's a great question, man. I still remember the house I was living in, where I was at when I made that phone call, man. I would look him in the eyes and I would just tell him it's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out. Like it's going to be okay. I wouldn't try to give him advice to change it. I would just look him in the eye and tell him it's all going to be okay. Ooh. When it's all said and done, how do I want to be remembered? I always relate to those people who have just been through some shit and you can't tell. Like they've been to hell and back and you'll never know it unless you talk to them about it. But I think I want to be remembered from sharing that journey and helping people out of dark places that they might be, especially if they're suffering alone. And even if I get zero credit for it and just seeing them win from afar, like I want to be that guy that people can talk to and relate to and kind of get advice from, because I've been through that hell and back and maybe I can help them through that, whether it's through running or not, or fitness or not, real estate or not. I just want to be remembered as a friend. It's a great question.
Heck yeah, man. Well, bro, thank you again. Long overdue.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, I'm excited, man. You know, like when I first met you, I was like in a weird spot, you know, like been obviously like grinding, doing everything that I've been trying to do and build up, you know, with Bird and then obviously the other guys on my team. But, you know, just kind of feeling stuck, right? Like, you know, kind of needed that spark to kind of find my purpose and stuff and get back into the swing of things. And, you know, I'm just grateful to be able to finally sit down and talk with you, get into kind of that rhythm of just like having these conversations again with people and learning more about people. And, you know, for whoever's listening, just, you know, understand like, hey, you know, we all go through stuff. It's not what it looks like online. You know, everyone's been through their own journey and story, and that's like what makes them who they are. So if you're going through something hard, like it's going to get better, you know? So just want to put that out there, you know, message for people. And, yeah, bro, I'm excited for you this year, man. Is like I said, when we met, just good energy, like charismatic, just genuine. And everyone's always had good things to say about you, bro. So
I love it, man.
thank you for your time, bro.
Yeah,
and,
bro. I appreciate the
yes,
opportunity. And Cam said it right, man. If you're going through some shit or you feel like you might be alone through it, like everybody's going through or has gone through something, like it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. You get through it. If I always say, dude, if I can do it, literally anybody can do it. If it's running, if it's real estate, if Sam and McCathren can do it, anybody can do it.
Facts.
Just stick with it.
Yes, sir. Heck yeah, bro. All right. Well, that'll do it for another episode of Opinionated Off-Topic. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Where can they find you at on socials?
Yeah. So really, it's just Instagram. It's SAMMCCATX.
All righty. Make sure you guys go follow him. Check him out. If you guys need real estate, he's your guy.
I'm your guy. Let's go.
Peace.